Hello friends, today in this video I am going to discuss the topic maternal adaptations in pregnancy. This is a very basic topic in obstetrics. An obstetric patient comes to you and you find tachycardia, okay, maybe pulse at 105, or she says that she is breathless, or she says that she is having more urine during night, she has to pass more urine during night. So, does all these things are pathological? No, these are not pathological, and we have to correlate with other clinical parameters also. Obstetrics, pregnancy, in pregnancy there is a developing fetus inside the mother. So, for that development, the maternal body, it undergoes certain changes. Okay, these changes are anatomical. Anatomical changes are mainly in the genital organs. The few systemic like cardiovascular, there is a shift in the apex beat. Then respiratory system anatomical changes are also present. So, you should be aware about all of them. Apart from anatomical changes, there are many physiological changes as an adaptation for pregnancy, for developing fetus, and preparation of the body for coming delivery in few months and then later lactation. And these anatomical and physiological changes that are occurring in mother's body, a pregnant woman's body, it leads to certain changes in the biochemical finding also. Biochemical finding like serum creatinine of 1, which you will say normal in a non-gravid woman. This serum creatinine of 1 will be pathological, considered pathological in a gravid woman. So, these are the important things that you should be aware of. An MBBS medical graduate should be aware of, that yes, there are certain changes in a woman's body that are necessary for the development of fetus, and these changes are to be recognized and differentiated from pathological changes that are also occurring in some pregnant ladies. So, if we are not aware about the normal adaptations, so we may confuse with these clinical features and we may overtreat the patient, or we may advise some tests that may not be necessary. By examining the patient, by taking in consideration that what could be the maternal, whether this is adaptation, this is physiological change, or whether this is pathological. To know this, normal should be, you should be aware of normal, what is normal. So, the changes that occur in a mother's body during pregnancy, they can be divided into changes that are occurring in genital organs and changes that are occurring in systemic organ system. In this video, I will be discussing the changes that are occurring in genital organs. In the next video, I will be discussing systemic organ system changes. Then there will be a dedicated video for postgraduate students, and there will also be a dedicated video for MBBS students preparing for entrance examination, discussing the MCQs and various other questions. Action. So, now we are going to study genital organ changes that are occurring in a pregnant lady, adaptations for pregnancy. Okay. Number 1 is vulva. So, vulva, it becomes, how is the vulva? There is increased vascularity. So, there is increased edematous, it becomes edematous because of the increased vascularity in the genital organs. Because of the pregnancy, the blood flow to the genital organs in all, it is increased. This you have to keep in mind. So, because of this increased vascularity, the vulva, it may be edematous. when if it is slightly edematous, some tortuous veins are present, it's okay. But if it is hugely edematous, then it is pathological for sure. And vagina, what are the changes in the vagina? The vaginal mucosa, it becomes, because of the increased vascularity, as I have already said that there in the genital organ during pregnancy the vascularity is increased. Because of this increased vascularity, the mucosa, it becomes bluish in color. This is called Jacquemer's sign. Jacquemer's sign. It is not pinkish as in non-gravid state, it becomes little bluish, purplish in shade. It is called Jacquemer's sign. It is the sign in early pregnancy. Earlier, before the advent of various tests, this was the feature used to be seen, Jacquemer's sign, that is the pinkish, bluish discoloration of the vaginal mucosa. This sign is also seen in pelvic pathologies where the blood flow is increased, like in fibroid cases this sign is also seen. So, this is not sign only for pregnancy. Now, the secretion, how are the secretion? They are copious, thin, they are the pH of the vagina is lowered because of the increased conversion of glycogen to lactic acid by lactobacilli. Lactobacilli, the number of lactobacilli, they are increased. Though more glycogen is available under the influence of estrogen, and this glycogen by these lactobacilli, they are converted to lactic acid. So, the pH is reduced, it becomes more acidic. This is a MCQ question, you may get MCQ on this. And also the cytology, intermediate cells are seen in the cytology, more of the intermediate cells. This is also because of the effect of estrogen and progesterone. In the cytology, intermediate cells are seen, but they have elongated nuclei. The nuclei is elongated. So, intermediate cells are seen. They are also called navicular cells, and this is also a MCQ question. Now, after this vulva and vaginal changes, we will come to the changes that are occurring in uterus. Uterus is the main organ where the baby is developing. So, in non-gravid state, the uterus the weight of uterus is around 50 gram and length is approximately 7.5 centimeter. This is non-gravid uterus, weight 50 gram and length is 7.5 centimeter. So, this is changed to maximum of 1000 gram. So, 50 gram, say it becomes till term at 1000 gram, and this 7.5 centimeter length is increased to approximately 35 centimeter length. Okay. So, this is the enormous change that is occurring in the uterus. The weight is increased from 50 to 1000 gram, these and length from 7.5 centimeter to a big 35 centimeter length. Why this change is occurring so much? Because it has to accommodate the developing fetus. So, there is this change, the whole change is occurring because of the hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Both. New muscle cells are also formed, and the already muscle cells that are present, they are hypertrophied. So hyperplasia is also present, but this hyperplasia is present only up to around 20 weeks of gestation, and after that, after this hyperplasia that occurs up to 20 weeks, then occurs hypertrophy till term. So the muscle fibers that are already present, more muscle fibers they are formed, and those that are formed later, they become hypertrophied. It is not only the muscle growth that is occurring, also there is increased stroma and connective tissue. They are also increased. Now coming to arrangement of muscle fibers in the uterus. There are three layers. Three layers. आउटर, जो बाहर वाली होती है आउटर लॉन्जिट्यूडिनल, जो अंदर वाली होती है इनर सर्कुलर, एंड बीच वाली जो होती है इंटरमीडिएट. दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, मोस्ट डेंस, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, क्रिस क्रॉस, इंटरमीडिएट क्रिस क्रॉस layer. Outer longitudinal, it is present more on the fundus like a hood over the fundus, and some fibers of this outer longitudinal muscle fibers, they go into the round ligament also. Some fibers of these outer longitudinal muscle layer, they are continuous in the round ligament also. So a gravid uterus, gravid woman comes to you and complains that while changing my posture, I feel pain in my private parts, okay, around the mons and in labia majora. There is a खिंचाव वाला पेन एक होता है, she says, और जब भी मैं बैठे से उठती हूँ या उठे से बैठती हूँ, तो दिस इज एक्सप्लेन्ड बाय दीज मसल फाइबर्स दैट आर गोइंग द राउंड लिगामेंट एंड गेटिंग इंसर्टेड इन द मॉन्स एंड लेबिया मेजोरा. सो मूवमेंट ऑफ द यूट्रस स्ट्रेचेज देम, ठीक है, इट कॉजेज दैट पेन, जो कि तुरंत ठीक हो जाता है आफ्टर चेंज ऑफ द पोस्चर. वाइल चेंजिंग इन द पोस्चर दिस पेन इज फेल्ट. दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ दीज fibers that are continuous in the round ligament. Now this inner circular, these fibers are mostly present near the orifice where the fallopian tubes are inserting, and near the internal os. These circular fibers, they act as strictures. They will act as sphincters, sphincters. They act as sphincters for development. This will prevent, this will act as a sphincter. It will close the internal os, and it will not allow the developing contents to pass through. In cases where these sphincters they do not work properly, वो अपना काम ठीक से नहीं करते हैं, we get repeated second trimester abortion, and these are the candidates where we put the cervical encerclage so as to provide that sphincteric action from outside. ठीक. Now coming to intermediate criss-cross muscle fibers, this is the most important, most dense layer of muscle fiber in the uterus. Why? The fibers, they are shaped like this in criss-cross pattern, and in between these fibers are passing blood vessels. So when there occurs delivery, the whole of the uterus it contracts, and as these contracts, these blood vessels that are passing through, they are automatically squeezed. ये बंद हो जाती हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दीज अरेंजमेंट. जो ये मसल फाइबर के बीच बीच में से जो आपके आ रहे हैं, जब ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगी तो ये इन वेसल्स को बंद कर देगा. जैसे ही ये वेसल बंद हो जाएंगी, वहाँ से ब्लीडिंग स्टॉप हो जाएगी. सो दीज आर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज लिविंग लाइगेचर्स. नेचर हैज़ प्रोवाइडेड living ligatures to save the life of the woman after childbirth. So these intermediate crisscross fibers, intermediate layer of the uterus, they act as living ligatures and they are most important. So in cases where after delivery there occurs atonicity, we say atonic postpartum hemorrhage, atonicity. Uterus के fibers they fail to, uterus the muscle fibers they fail to contract. What happens? These blood vessels that they were passing through them, they are not obliterated, and when they are not obliterated because of the failure of these muscle fibers to contract, blood will pour through them. उनमें से ब्लड निकलता रहता है एंड इट लीड्स टू अटोनिक पोस्टपार्टम हेमरेज. सो दिस इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट. द नेचर हैज़ गिवन द लिविंग लाइगेचर टू अ वुमन, एवरी वुमन, टू सेव हर लाइफ आफ्टर द चाइल्ड बर्थ. As I have told that hyperplasia occurs up to 20 weeks, mostly 20 weeks of gestation hyperplasia occurs, and thereafter the muscle fibers they enlarge, hypertrophy. The thickness of the uterine wall is at term is only 1.5 centimeter or less. This is also a one-liner MCQ question. Thickness of the uterine wall at term is 1.5 centimeter. Now coming to vascular system. The blood vessel, blood supply to uterus, because uterus is the primary organ where the child bearing is going on. So blood supply to this uterus I will be discussing here. During non-gravid uterus, the most of the blood supply is coming from uterine arteries, but in gravid uterus the blood coming from uterine artery is providing only 50% of the blood supply. Around 50% is coming from ovarian, also ovarian artery. So uterine as well as ovarian, they both are the blood supply to the developing fetus and to the uterus. And along the lateral border of the uterus, from here it is coming ovarian and from here it is coming uterine, there is anastomosis occurring. So whenever we have to take, in cases of postpartum hemorrhage, if we need to ligate the blood vessels, we need to ligate these both. ठीक, or if we ligate only uterine, we may not achieve our goal of achieving hemostasis. So uterine, ovarian and uterine, they both supply blood to the gravid uterus. And other anatomical change that is occurring when the uterus is enlarging from 7.5 to enormous 35 centimeter, the growth, much of the growth is also occurring above the level of the fallopian tube insertion. This is the fundus. It is also enlarged enormously to accommodate the developing fetus. So upper 1/3 of the gravid uterus is the portion of the fundus. Upper 1/3 is the portion of the fundus, and when due at term, these fallopian tubes they lie vertically. They are stretched because the femoral end is there only, and they lie parallel to the uterus. They are stretched longitudinally. Now coming to relation. Shape, I have already told you, in non-gravid uterus it is pyriform. Then at around 12 weeks it becomes globular. Then at around 28 to 32 weeks it becomes pyriform again, and at term it becomes oval. At term it becomes oval. Position, the anteverted position of the uterus, this is bladder and this is uterus anteverted. At around 8 weeks of gestation, at around 8 weeks till 12 weeks, 8 weeks till 12 weeks, this anteverted gravid uterus, this anteverted position is exaggerated. It presses the bladder anteriorly. What it causes? It causes, and bladder cannot attain its complete volume of urine, and there is a clinical condition called frequent urination. This frequent urination, it should not be in the absence of any other burning or hesitancy. It should not be confused with the urinary tract infection, and also you may confirm it by urine routine examination to look for pus cells. If pus cells are absent, it is because of the anteverted gravid uterus compressing the bladder anteriorly, so causing its incomplete filling, and the woman, she says कि मुझे बार बार यूरिन आ रहा है, पर उसमें ना तो उसे जलन होती है, ना दर्द होता है, ना उसको यूरिन पास करने में कोई डिफ़िकल्टी होती है. सो यू गेट द यूरिन रूटीन डन and you will get to know that this is because of this physiological adaptation that is going on in the mother, and reassure her that कि आपको ये 8 से 12 weeks के बाद होगा. After 12 weeks the uterus becomes a abdominal organ. Uterus becomes an abdominal organ. ऊपर सीधा खड़ा हो जाता है, जो ब्लैडर पे प्रेशर पड़ रहा होता है वो बंद हो जाता है, and the woman is relieved of her this symptom. So reassurance if it is not associated with any signs of infection. Now next thing is lateral obliquity. Because of the we say there is a dextrorotation. What is dextrorotation of gravid uterus? Dextro means right, towards right this rotation is occurring because of the presence of loaded sigmoid colon and rectum on the left side posteriorly. So less space is present. So this uterus, it is shifted a little bit towards right. That means the anterior surface of the uterus, it is shifted, tilted towards the right side of mother. Right side of mother. This is dextrorotation. What it causes? The lateral wall, the left lateral wall is closer to the anterior abdominal wall. One thing. Number two, it cause, जब ऊपर का हिस्सा right side को मुड़ेगा, because of the, this is cervix, this is uterus. जब ये uterus का हिस्सा यहाँ मुड़ेगा, this is already attached to body by various ligaments, you know, you will come to know. ठीक है, वहाँ पे यूट्रोसैक्रल लिगामेंट भी होते हैं पोस्टीरियरली, साइड्स में भी आपके ट्रांसवर्स सर्वाइकल लिगामेंट होते हैं यहाँ पे. तो क्या होगा इसमें, ये चीज़ यहीं अटकी रह जाएगी, ये ऐसे मुड़ेगा तो ये पोर्शन पीछे चला जाएगा. तो सर्विक्स का क्या हो जाता है, लीवो रोटेशन, डेक्स्ट्रो रोटेशन ऑफ यूटेरस एंड लीवो रोटेशन ऑफ cervix. तो cervix is shifted towards left side. So this is about the dextrorotation, the cause of dextrorotation, and what are the implications of this dextrorotation we will see in further duration. Now about uterine peritoneum. The upper part of the uterus, the peritoneal relations, they remain as it is. Peritoneal relations, they remain as it is, but it is adherent. जैसे वो अच्छे से चिपका रहता है ऊपर के पार्ट में वो रहता है, but when because of the developing isthmus, we will see further, the lower 1/3 the peritoneum is loosely attached. Peritoneum is loosely attached in the lower segment of the term uterus. We will see how that the lower segment is formed from the isthmus in few minutes. Before that I would like to tell that यूटरस ऊपर जा रहा है, उसके जो अटैचमेंट हैं पोस्टीरियरली, यूट्रोसैक्रल अटैचमेंट जो पीछे से हैं, दे आर ऑल्सो गोइंग अप, वो पेल्विक ब्रिम तक पहुंच जाते हैं. एंड व्हाट इट कॉजेज? डीपनिंग ऑफ द पाउच ऑफ डगलस पोस्टीरियर टू द यूटरस. दिस इज यूटरस, आई एम टेकिंग फ्रॉम लेटरल. दीज आर यूट्रोसैक्रल लिगामेंट जो कि आपके ये भी ऊपर पहुंच गए हैं, ऊपर चले गए हैं. तो यहाँ जो पीछे आपका पाउच ऑफ डगलस है, POD, व्हाट वी से पाउच ऑफ डगलस, ये डीप हो जाता है, इट बिकम्स डीपर. नाउ कमिंग टू ब्रैक्सटन हिक्स कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. डोंट कंफ्यूज देम विद premature labor. Braxton Hicks contraction. These are painless. Most important thing, these are painless. The woman is not aware about them. Painless uterine contraction. And these painless uterine contraction, they do not have any effect on the dilatation of the cervix. These are spasmodic, irregular, not frequent, painless uterine contraction that are not having any effect on the dilatation of the cervix. You may come across them while examining a woman. So don't confuse ki okay, oh she is having this uterine irritability. It is also not uterine irritability. These are Braxton Hicks contraction. They are not frequent, they are irregular. You may not know अब आए हैं तो अगला कब आएगा, बहुत फ्रीक्वेंट नहीं होते हैं. अभी एक आपको एग्जामिनेशन के टाइम पे आ गया तो अगला आधे घंटे में आए, 1 घंटे में आए, यू नेवर नो. These are irregular, painless. Woman is not aware about these contraction. Only you can feel that the uterus has become hard. One thing, that the intrauterine pressure will not go above 8 millimeter. जो इसमें आपका इंट्रायूट्राइन प्रेशर होता है, it will not go about 8 mm mercury. So in these Braxton Hicks contraction, यूटेराइन वेन्स, जो वेन्स होती हैं, दे आर कम्प्लीटली ऑब्लिटरेटेड. यूटेराइन जो आर्टरी होती हैं, दे आर पार्शियली ऑब्लिटरेटेड. सो ब्लड आउटपुट फ्रॉम द यूटेरस इज zero at the time of these contraction, blood output, and input जो आपका यूट्राइन आर्टरी से आ रहा है वो भी कम हो जाता है. So sometimes these are associated with fetal bradycardia because of this. So be careful, they do not have any change, they do not cause any changes in the cervix. The uterine contraction, if they are causing changes in the cervix, dilatation of the cervix they are causing, they are called labor pains, आपके normal uterine contraction. But these are Braxton Hicks contraction and they are elicited from early pregnancy, and later on these infrequent painless contractions, their frequency increases near term and ultimately they are merged into the labor pains. Now we will see about the endometrium changes that are occurring.